Welcome to the Disney Store. A special place filled with fun, laughter, excitement, and even a little magic. Think of your first Disney memory. Chances are you still remember your very first Walt Disney film. Remember the joy you felt visiting a Disney theme park. There's a reason you have such positive Disney memories. It's because most of you were once the guest of the Walt Disney Company, a company dedicated to exceeding your expectations. We roll out the red carpet, put the accent on entertainment, give you value and quality, and most of all, make you feel special.
Hi, welcome to the Disney Store.
And now, as a cast member at a Disney store, you get to bring that same magic to others in your own hometown.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Stores. By now, I'm sure you're all aware that you've joined a very exciting specialty retail concept. What you might not be so much aware of is a little bit about the history of the Disney Stores. So what I thought I'd do is tell you a little bit about how things began and why I think we've become the success we are today. The first store opened in March of 1987. Glendale, California is right next door to our Burbank headquarters, and we decided to open in Glendale because it was so close we could keep an eye on the store. Coincidentally, it opened the day after Michael Eisner and Frank Wells signed the agreement for a year at Disneyland. They literally flew all night back to be there for the store opening. Now, I was a nervous wreck the night before we opened the store, and I couldn't sleep. So I got up at about 7 o'clock in the morning, and my wife and I got in the car and drove to Glendale. We got to the mall about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I kept thinking, what am I going to do if no one shows up? Well, at about 8:30, we walked down the mall, cup of coffee in hand, and we saw the biggest crowd I've ever seen in my life. They were there 2 hours before the store opened, and the crowds have never stopped since. People have asked me numerous times, what has been the key to our success? And I think the simple answer is, we're more than just a store. What we've done with the Disney Stores is go back to the roots of the Walt Disney Company, the things that made Disneyland great, the things that Walt Disney himself stood for. Great guest service, providing an entertaining environment, making people smile. And we've taken those things and married them with the best of specialty retail concepts to create something completely new, which is called the Disney Stores. Let me give you some examples of things we've done in the stores that you're going to be working in that retail professionals told us we were crazy to try. First of all, the large video screen in the back of the store. We use that screen to show sing-alongs and other videos to really entertain people and bring them into the store and create a Disney environment. Well, when we first started the stores, other retailers told us we were out of our minds because that happens to be some of the best retail real estate space in the store. Another example would be our animated window in the front of the store. When you walk through a mall, you'll see every other retailer uses their front windows to display their sale merchandise or their current most hot product. We, on the other hand, don't have any merchandise in our animated window. And time again, I've had people, consultants and other retailers tell me, why don't you change that window? You could sell so much more product. But to us, that isn't the point. Just as our animated films like Beauty and the Beast are more than cartoons, and our theme parks are much more than amusement parks, the Disney Store is much more than just a store. And I hope you always remember that the most important thing that we can do is have cast members who are friendly and courteous. Because to the guests that walk into our stores, you are the Walt Disney Company.
I love working for the Disney Stores, but it's not just that. Just being a part of such an incredible company, I think, is very exciting.
I like the total atmosphere and the people and the excitement that goes on every day.
My favorite time probably is when the one kid came in and he decided he wanted to help me do everything that I was going to do because he wanted to be just like me.
We choose the sites for the Disney stores by choosing the best cities, whether it be in the United States, whether it be in Japan, whether it be in Europe. We try to find the best retail outlets or streets in each of those cities. Every store is different. It literally takes us probably 4 to 5 weeks to design an individual store. The theming portion really begins 6 to 7 months in advance of any store opening. And that's really the fun, whimsical, the characters moving, the animation, the sets, what we call the Disney fun side of it. One of the difficulties of having such a great design of stores is how are we maintaining these stores? We go above and beyond what any other retailer typically does, and that is we have twice a year our 6-month maintenance, where we have a crew who comes in every store, fixes every item that's broken, paints every wall, cleans the carpets regularly, and maintains them. We maintain them very well that way. But the key to this is that we get our cast members in between these 6-month maintenance checkups. They all work together to do a great job. You know, no retailer spends the money that we spend. No retailer spends the time designing it. No store in retail like Disney. And we will always do that because, you know, people expect it of us. And if we don't do it, then we're going to hurt the image, which, you know, that's why we're all here. I guess the most memorable opening that I can recall is when we did our first store in London. It was so crowded, I couldn't believe it. And this lady walked up to me and said, do you have anything to do with this? And I said, yes. What can I do for you? And she said, I just want to thank you. And I said, oh. And she goes, I have a little girl, and she's around 4 years old, and she's autistic. And we took her to Disney World in Orlando, and that was the first time she ever, you know, gave a sign of seeing anything or just an emotion. And today, I just want you to know that this is the second time we've seen emotion in her face. It was quite a moving time, and it makes all the sweat, all the hard work, well worth it.
The magic that this company has, it's just a feeling. You can't explain it, you just have to feel it.
The positive energy of this place, it's just like going into Disneyland. You can see it in the people, you can see it, you can feel it in yourself. You walk through the door and you get that boost of energy, and it's great. I love it.
When I first came to the Disney stores, the first thing they had me do was they had me go to what they call a traditions class. I sat in a store with, maybe 20 people, and you could see in their eyes that this was a special place. It wasn't hokey, and when I really felt that was at the end of the day after going through, this is how we dress, this is the procedures at the Disney stores, this is how we treat guests. At the end of the day, you stood in this circle, and you stood around with a group of people that you'd never met before, held hands, and Darren had asked everybody to sing M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E, the song. And I have to tell you, if you had asked me 6 months ago if I would do that, I would have said you're crazy. But I can only tell you that it wasn't hokey. And from that point on, you know what I felt that, you know what, there is something special about this Disney thing. There is something unique. Disney makes the best animated films in my mind. Disney has the best theme parks in the world today. And when a guest comes into Disney stores, they should feel that, you know something, they're getting the best Disney product that they could find. What does that mean? What that means is when a guest walks in the store and let's say walks to the wall where a basic t-shirt is, that guest should walk to the wall, pick that up and say, you know something, this is good quality. The art integrity or the design is very good. And you know what? This is a fair value for the price. That's number one. Number two is, underneath that umbrella there has to be some core businesses that the Disney Store stands for. The plush business, the ceramic mug business, the gift collectible business, the basic t-shirt and sweatshirt businesses. And what we need to identify is identify those businesses and make sure that no matter where the Disney Store is, whether it's Toledo, Ohio, Miami, Florida, Regent Street in the UK, those businesses are going to be there, and they're going to be there in the right stock levels at the right prices and at the right time, so that guest can be satisfied every time he or she walks in. How much product development actually goes into this business? It's not just going to the market and saying, I'll take 6 dozen Mickey t-shirts. What it is in an effort to make the business unique and different, somebody like a Chris Sanders, the toy buyer, went out and took a long time to develop a special game that, you know what, is only unique to the Disney Stores. Basically, we call it the Disney Stores, but it's really, we're an entertainment organization. We're an arm of the entertainment organization. The total organization has a point of view, and we're sharing that point of view all the way down to the retail level. And I think the guest looks at it as far as Disney a lot of times, and we need to make sure that we are presenting that synergistic effect from the top to the bottom.
It's something that I've always dreamed about doing since I was in 8th grade. I think I said, I want to work for Disney. I'm going to work for Disney.
The chance to set the standard for a company whose standards are so high are really, it's very exciting.
I love knowing the Disney name is behind me, and I know it stands for quality.
The cast members are probably the most important thing that we have. People need to remember that at the Disney Store, there's a lot of, you know, as I call it, irresistible humanity going on to begin with when they come into the store. It's usually about an experience either involving a child or a grandchild. And right then and there, you have a guest coming in who really has a very emotional attachment, emotional involvement as to why they're there to begin with. But that whole experience around you know, coming to a Disney Store can really be embellished by the whole relationship between a guest and a cast member. I know that many children that will remember exactly where they were the very first time they saw Beauty and the Beast, and I know that many of the items that they're going to be, you know, getting in the store aren't really being, you know, brought home for play value, but will be cherished forever and ever. What's interesting and exciting for me is to be part of that process. First time that I ever went into a Disney Store, to this day I can remember the amazement that I had inside of me. Recalled, you know, some of my most wondrous sort of feelings in terms of business, that I thought this was a phenomenal idea, phenomenal concept. And every time I walk in a store, I get that sort of tingle of excitement inside of me. And it's like I haven't seen a store in, you know, days or weeks or months. The cast members are special because not everybody in this day and age really wants to understand the concept of being of service to one another. And our selection process is so important because we're looking for characteristics that are going to really embellish the whole Disney image and the whole Disney aura that we're trying to create. And those are traits that they have and that were really talents that they were given as they were being raised and grown up in their family. You know, are they nice people, genuinely nice people? Because that's all we hire is nice people. That's not something you can learn in a book or something you can train for or even be taught to be. Approaching a 2-year-old who's having a bad day and really caring about whether or not that 2-year-old is having fun or not, there's nothing that can be trained. That has to come from the heart.
Besides the atmosphere that you work with, it's the people. You just won't find any more enthusiastic people anywhere else.
It's work, but it's not. You know, you work, but you're having a good time doing it.
I'm just like everyone else. I have a favorite Disney memory too. And my favorite Disney memory is on Sunday evening, sitting with my family, watching The Wonderful World of Disney. And what I remember most about it is just how much fun it conjured up. And more importantly, what I remember is that it was something that I did together with my whole family. And if there's one thing that I would say is synonymous with Disney, it's family. One of the things I think we're able to do is create the same sort of family feeling that The Wonderful World of Disney did for me as a child with families today as they come into the Disney stores. You know, the mission that we've all agreed to accept by being part of the Disney Store team is one that is dedicated to exceeding guest expectations, And that, above all, is the guiding principle of how we can all do business in every situation on any given day. One of the most important aspects of our mission that we've all agreed to be part of is the concept of trying to work together as a team, trying to assure that we have people involvement in all areas of our business, that we listen to all of our people, that we, in the effort of trying to make sure we have great external guest service, trying to make sure we recognize people for that. We acknowledge their achievement when they are successful at exceeding guest expectations. Another important part of the mission to me is to make sure that we utilize the synergy of the Walt Disney Company along with good, responsible business practices. Not business practices that are going to affect the way that we're doing business on a day-to-day basis. Not business practices that are going to get in the way of achieving our ultimate mission, which is exceeding guest expectations, but good, responsible business practices which will assure the safety, security, and protection of all of our company assets. Most importantly, I think that it's that everyone makes sure that we have fun at this job, have fun being part of the Disney Store, because that if we're having fun, it'll come across to our guests, and the guests will then have fun as well. Our mission really takes us back to Walt Disney's roots in trying to establish a framework for a company and for an ideal and for a feeling that would last forever and ever. And I think nobody really says it better than Walt himself.
I think by this time, my staff, my young group of executives and everything else are convinced that Walt is right, that quality will out. And so I think they're going to stay with that policy because it's proven that it's a good business policy. Give the public everything you can give them. Keep the place as clean as you can keep it. Keep it friendly. Make it a real fun place to be. I think they're convinced, and I think that'll hang on after, as you say, after Disney.
It's a very people-oriented company. We believe in guest service wholeheartedly, and we not only do it with external guests, but we do it internally as well.
I talk to a lot of people out in the field and really get a feel for what they go through and try to help them out as much as possible, just because they're my guests, so I give them the best guest service I can from home base.
It's like a family to me. It's great. I love the people that work there, and we're just all really close.
The thing about Disney, it gives you credibility in that it allows you the freedom to go in and say, I want the best.
It's just real special to be able to walk into a Disney store and see everything trying to make a statement, trying to be Disney. And it's magic, it's pixie dust. It's real nice.
Welcome to the Disney Store, a fun, energizing, entertaining place where Disney dreams come true.